Hello and welcome to 2019, my first video of the year. What feels like the first video in, I don't know, well over a year. It's January 3rd. It's a bit freaking raining, but we're going to try and do something today. Today I'm going to try and install a shift light into the gauge cluster somewhere so it looks kind of factory. It's not really needed. I don't really do autocross that much. Only done it once. I don't really race it, but it's more of like a novelty. Maybe it would have been an option that they did for fun. The STIs have one. That's kind of where I get some of my inspiration from, is from Subaru stuff. So we're going to try and do it on this car. I'm going to go ahead and put the key in and see what kind of idiot lights we have. So you can see right down there, there's nothing. We've got high beam is right there. I don't know if that's, I don't know what the light pit is, but that's where we're going to try and do it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm probably going to take the wheel off, or maybe drop this down, take the cluster off. So I'm going to go ahead and do all that, so we're not watching a tutorial on how to remove that stuff. You can find videos and write-ups on it. So again, I'm going to go ahead and take whatever I need to do to get to the dash, and then I'll take the dash inside and we'll work on finding a nice location, how we're going to set all that up, and then I'll show you the shift light that I got, how I disassembled that, and again how we're going to wire it all up. So I'll go ahead and do that, and next time you see me, we'll be messing with the gauge cluster, hopefully. So just real quick, I was able to get the dash hood out, or gauge hood, whatever you want to call it, out. There's two screws on the bottom. Undid those. Then what I did is I undid the steering column. There's 3 bolts on that, or excuse me, screws on the bottom. 4 of them on the bottom. And then also undo the knee, kick panel, whatever you want to call it. There's 2 on there, and then it kind of slides down towards your feet. From there, take the steering column, surround off, and then you can pull the hood out and kind of work your way out without scratching or anything like that. So, tiny little bit right there, but that's fine. Then I'll undo those 4 screws. There should be connectors on the side of that. I'll pull that out, and then I'll take it inside, and we'll start working with that. So, cool. So, went ahead and disassembled the cluster. There's just these little tabs on the back. So now I'm trying to figure out how we're going to do this. So we could do, that's the high beam. This could be its dedicated own little shift light spot, which I think would be pretty cool. But got to think about how to go about it. This is the stock piece. You might not be able to see it. I believe all these indicators are already printed on this, and then this is just tape. So even if I peel this off, it's still going to be blue, and it's still going to have the high beam. But what I could do maybe is cut it out and then put something back over it. So I may try that, but also, if you notice, this isn't the stock gauge overlays. This is from Rev Limiter. This is the JNC pack. Well, when you install these, I have to cut down here. I had to cut all those lights out. So what I could do is repurpose that area and put the shift light here, maybe add 2 more lights, and then basically this whole entire area I could get to light up when it's time to shift. The only issue is during the daytime, unless I can really focus it in one area, you might not be able to see it. And then at nighttime, again, unless I can focus it directly onto here, it's going to be kind of really scattered light. So I might have to just play around with a few different options. But I'm going to take a little bit more time to think about where I want to put it, and then we'll go from there. So that's kind of where we're at. Alright, so for the shift light, I just went online to try to find the cheapest one I could, nothing fancy. It's by Proform. It does up to 8 cylinders, 8, 6, and 4. All I did was, there's a little yellow lens that's here. Obviously there's no other way to open it up. I guess you could cut it, but you don't need to. you just push that lens inside and it will kind of rotate and you can pull it out. And from there, on the back side here, you're going to pull this little piece off, and that's what you use to turn and set normally where you want your RPM to be at. See, that just pulls off. And there's a locking nut here that you just remove, and then you can push on this piece here and push it inside of the shift light. And then from there, you'll just feed these wires through, and then pull the whole assembly out, and then this is what it looks like. So that's your adjustment for your RPM. This is the little amber lights, the circuitry, and then these two wires, one is for the 6 and one's for the 4. For the 4-cylinder, you have to cut both of these, and then that just tells it that you have a 4-cylinder. So that's it. So what I'll do is I'll end up probably figuring out where I want to put this. I may try and wire it up somehow that I can insert this in the cluster, and then maybe I won't have to disassemble it. If I ever want to adjust this, I can just kind of go somewhere and turn it so it's a little bit more convenient. But I'll have to think about that as well. But if I do that, I may have to end up somehow extending this wire. So I don't know how crazy I want to get, but we'll see how it goes here. Alright, so here we go. So went ahead and put this kind of just on. It's in the RPM side. Let's see. Of course I can't really show it to you that well, but lights up that bottom side again. The only thing is, all you can see is where the letters and the numbers are, so there's not like an individual spot. So again, I still got to think about it. I'll probably end up going with the high beam side and just again cutting this out or drilling it out or doing something, but I think that's probably going to be the best move, so we'll probably work towards that. Alright, so what I ended up doing was just taking this piece, and then I just found something sharp. I was going to use this to try and stick like a hole through it and do that to kind of drill it out or just to get a hole, but I found out I could just kind of scratch this stuff off. You can see it's not going to be perfect. I may have to try and think of a way maybe just to stick something around, and then I'll just paint those edges so it doesn't look, as kind of crappy as it does now. But that should be perfect enough where everything else around it is black and all you're going to see is that yellow light. So I'm going to stick that back on there and then test it again and see how it looks. Alright, so here's kind of what we're looking at. It's pretty bright. I definitely need to again clean it up a little bit, but I think it's going to be just what we want. So I ended up having to take off those little wires and resolder. It's not the best job. What I decided to do is use hot glue to hold it. So it works. It's not pretty, but it'll work because I need to extend this so I can decide to put this somewhere else. And then finished with the LED light. So it's on the inside of this spark plug tube that comes in the little boxes. And I just put aluminum foil around it. And then the bottom side you can see is hot glued as well. So I had to extend those wires for whatever reason. The little copper wires that were on there, once I cut them, it wouldn't work anymore. So I took just regular wire. I don't know, this is 14, 16 gauge. And then I had to use little crimps to slide them over the LED little wires that come on there. And I had to crimp them on there. It's not perfect, but it'll do the job. So this is going to go in there like originally planned. This is already all set up, and I'll show you in just a second. Alright, so I'm back in the car. I'm starting to work on the wiring side for the car side since the gauge cluster is pretty much done. I was able to find a nice manual from Flying Miata for one of their tacks. It's got 90 to 93 there. It's got my ground, power, and tack, the location, the two connectors right there, 9097, 9097. Make it plain and easy. So all I have to do is go to my black connector here, I'll get my ground and my power, and then to the white one over here, and I'll get my tact signal. So it makes it easy. You could go, if you wanted, you could go through the diagnostic box and run wires all the way in here. But that's just too much wiring. Then you got to come through a grommet. You got 3 wires that got to come in, so you got to deal with that. Or you could go to the ECU, which is down in the footwell. Again, you'd have to extend wires, so I'd rather just depin it from the connector side, splice into those wires, and then just have it right there. Minimal length of wire, it's straightforward. So that's what I'm going to do. But the next thing I have to do is I have to figure out where I'm going to put that little circuit board. I could fit it back here somewhere. I should probably 3D print a box for it, because I also would like to be able to have it adjusted. You know, I'm going to have to adjust it, so I need to know what RPM it's actually at, and then, you know, if I want to adjust 6,000, 65, 7,000. So I think for right now I'll just get it wired up, and then I'll worry about that down the road. So we're going to continue forward, and I guess once I get this spliced in, we'll get back to you. Alright, so it's 4:20. It's many months since I started this video. Just with school and whatnot, I haven't had any time or motivation really to work on cars. But I did finish the shift light, I think, within that day or the next day. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So this is at nighttime. It's actually just as bright during the daytime, which is great. Again, it's an LED. It's focused directly at me. So I did put it where the high beam is, so I no longer have a high beam indicator, but that's all right. It's not that important, and usually people will flash at me if I am too bright anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. I have it set at 5,000 now. Originally I had it set at 65, but that was a little bit too high. I don't want to be ringing it out all the time to 6,500 just to get it come on. So 5,000 is normally about when I shift. It doesn't really hurt the motor, so I think it's appropriate. I did end up just depinning the connectors, as I mentioned, stripping those wires and then pushing them in there and then pushing them back into the connector. I didn't solder, I didn't crimp. At a later time, I will. I bought a new solder rig, so I will do that. But right now, it's been working fine. So I'll just show you at 5,000 here. So again, you can see it's very bright. You definitely know when to shift. You don't even have to look at the the tack, which is what it's designed for. I think it came out very well. I'm very, very, very pleased with it. Again, it's kind of a novelty thing. It's not necessary, but it's just a nice little touch. So yeah, I hope you guys like that. Not really sure what I got coming up. Probably not much of anything, except for I got to do a new water pump, so I don't know, maybe I'll do a video on that. But I do need to get the Subaru running. I do have the clutch, and I do have the timing belt kit and all that kind of stuff. So there will be a video coming for that shortly. Summer's coming up, so hopefully I'll have time to do that. So thanks again for watching. Peace out. I'm going to go buy some new Sambas.